Hi, everyone, and welcome to our weekly live. Coach Veronika is with us. How are you today?
Hi, Daniel. It's really nice to see you again. And I'm fine, thank you. And how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Back from, we had a vacation last week, so I'm back from that, and it always feels a little like, even if it's just a week, it feels a little unusual. Like I'm back making videos, back doing lives, right? It's funny how just a little time makes us feel like it feels like it's new again.
Yeah, exactly. I totally know it. And I always, when I had holiday and I was supposed to come back to work, it felt so weird. Like, again, to get on this stereotype. When you are in the stereotype in the middle of it, it's you just don't think about it. You just do it like subconsciously, or how to say, like automatically is the word.
Yeah.
But when you just do this holiday or summer getaway, then it's kind of like you have to think more about what you should do, what you are supposed to do, and you need to give a little bit more energy to go back again into this stereotype. So
Yes.
yeah, I totally know what are you talking about.
Very, very true. And yeah, we see some questions come in already, but I was just as we started speaking here, I remember like, oh wait, Veronika often has a little like insight prepared. I don't know if you have that today or not.
Actually, not, but what I was pondering a little bit lately is spring fatigue. Do you know what spring fatigue is? Right, like when the winter is over and the spring is coming, we usually feel very tired and exhausted, and this is something I've been experiencing in the past weeks, let's say. And it's so weird because I can literally I can sleep through the night, but I'm so tired day after day, and I even had my blood checked to be if everything is okay, and everything turns out to be fine. And one thing I was thinking about that could be useful to our anybody who is here, because many times I have seen that in the insomnia groups on Facebook, and whenever they were investigating what could be behind their insomnia, and many said or thought that the problem is with the level of vitamin D in their blood. And it turns out I have like zero, like almost nothing. And I sleep well. So I just want to point out that this is just a rabbit hole. Don't go this path. You can sleep well even if you have like really, really low levels of vitamin D. And if I should go back to the exhaustion, and actually, I just spoke the day before yesterday with a friend of mine, and she told me that she feels the same, and she actually suggested me that it might be this spring fatigue. I was like, oh, okay, now I attribute it to the obvious, so now I'm happy. Okay, I don't have to investigate it more, and I'm okay with my fatigue right now. So I think, yeah, this is my little insight, let's say, which I didn't prepare, but I was just wondering it a little bit.
No, that was great. I was like, how I often think about like thumbnails, and I was gonna be like, oh, the thumbnail could be like Coach Veronika sleeps with zero vitamin D levels, like
Yeah,
it's yeah, no, so that's great. And as you said, like whenever we're feeling something like fatigue or like whatever, and we attribute something obvious, we no longer try to problem solve or to fix it. Everything is easier. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
nicely said. Let's jump in here. Leo is here and says, hello, coaches. Hi, Leo.
Hi.
And then tomorrow night, I will be going to a trip for 4 days to another country. In the
Lucky you.
mid, huh?
Lucky you.
Exactly. In the midst of my insomnia struggle, I was avoiding traveling in order to fix my sleep issues. This is how I was thinking before. I was putting my life on hold. But now I have taken the decision to choose life over insomnia. Although I'm still not recovered, I'm feeling in this moment some fear. The origin of this feeling is the following thought: maybe I will not enjoy the trip because I will not sleep well. Maybe I'll feel tired due to the lack of sleep. I know this is automatic programs in my brain still running, but do I just go on with the trip and whatever happens, happens? Nice question.
Mhm.
What do you think when you hear this?
Yeah, absolutely, Leo. I just totally know what are you talking about. I've experienced also when I was in the thick of my insomnia that I even despite I could be on nice places, I could be on like with amazing people, but still at the back of my mind was sleep, and I didn't enjoy it. And it was the time when I didn't have the education, and I had so much of this internal struggle, like what if I don't sleep tonight, how much it will affect me, how I behave, how I interact with people, how I will feel during the trip. And now since I have the education right now, and it is very natural to feel the fear you are feeling. It's very normal. It's I'm glad that you see it as an automatic program, and because it's automatic, it will run what it needs to run, and then it will fade. And uh, you just need to acknowledge, okay, it is possible that I might not feel well, but it doesn't have to rule my world. It doesn't have to rule my day. And it's maybe a little tip if it is possible that it will be even bad, but you need to be kind to yourself. And you can even plan your day like if you get a chance, like, okay, in the middle of the day, I can have a little rest and I can continue, right? Or I will have an extra cup of coffee. Or, but from the experience, I think what I hear from people in general, they sleep better on the trips. Just to encourage you a little bit, because there is so many new things. There are so many new inputs that they are so overwhelmed, and they forget about their sleep. For example, just recently I worked with one client one on one, and she went on a trip, and the first night was just terrible. And we made a call right after that night, and I told her that it is completely normal. Everyone, if you have insomnia or not, it's kind of like expected that you would have some trouble sleeping because you are in new environment, and it's your brain is monitoring for the change. Could it be a threat to me? Is it safe to sleep here? So it's totally normal if you have trouble sleep the first night. And again, it depends a lot on the reaction you will have to this night, how the other night might go. If you will freak out, oh my God, I didn't sleep, then it could be a little bit bumpy still. But if you acknowledge it, of course I didn't sleep. It is a new environment. I'm somewhere else, and my thread is a super survival machine. Of course I didn't sleep. Then it will get easier. And with the client, I had did extra call. She said that the rest of the trip she slept like a baby. So yeah, so Leo, this is all for me, and I hope you will enjoy your trip.
So yeah, so do I. I hope you have a nice trip in these days. And yeah, not much more to add. I think yeah, generally, again, it's always helpful not to expect anything, but generally speaking, yeah, when people go on trips, generally
Mhm.
ends up being something really helpful actually.
Yeah,
And what else? Oh yeah, just I want to add a little thing
yeah,
that I think Alina often talks about, which is that Leo said, like, I'm planning on to go on this trip, which is nice. It's like, some courage
hmm,
there. It's a really nice
yeah,
thing to do. But what if I might be really tired? What if I don't sleep, et cetera, et cetera? And then Alina often says, well, that could have happened if you stayed home too. We don't know.
exactly.
At
Yeah,
least, when you go on the trip, at least you
exactly.
get the benefit of like being in a new place, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah,
And one
very
more
nice.
thing, maybe, if I
Yeah,
may, just what Coach Michelle says, uh, that take it as a practice. Don't get discouraged if the first trip doesn't go so well, because your brain is getting used to it, right? I have to say that after I recovered, or in my process of recovery, really the first trips were bumpy. They were. But as I was exposing myself more and more to a new environment, to new places, I don't have problem to sleep from the first night on.
yeah.
So take it as a practice.
Nice one too. Wow. Okay. Let's check this out. Libby says, I find lately that even if I don't sleep well, as long as I'm asleep when my alarm goes off, I'm able to shake off the tiredness and go about my day. If, on the other hand, I wake up in the middle of the night and lay awake until my alarm goes off, I'm exhausted no matter what I do. I often experience this even before my insomnia started. Is this common?
Absolutely, it is. I exactly just the word by word you just wrote it, Libby. I experience the same. If I if I sleep like let's say a couple of hours before my alarm goes off, I'm okay most of the day. But if I would wake up in the middle of the night and even if I just rest in bed, my day is wasted. Really, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. I can't focus. I can't do anything, and doesn't matter if I would have if it was during insomnia or before or now. It's all the time like this. I don't know why.
Well, that's this is so nice to normalize things like
Right,
it's like
exactly. Yeah,
you
it's
had the
normal.
exact same experience. Now, but I think we can do this kind of like thought experiment here, which is to
Mhm.
say that let's say you, Veronica, or Libby, wake up several hours before the alarm goes off, just stays in bed until it's time for morning, and then feels exhausted, tired, etc. But then, you get a call from I don't know your
Mhm.
uncle in America passed away, and you just inherited like $2 million. Like,
Yeah,
how do you feel then?
yeah, exactly. That's true. That's
We
true.
would
Yeah.
we would be like, oh my gosh, my life has
Yes.
changed. Immediately, we're not tired anymore. We're exhausted. We're like so. Even though what you said is a common experience, like it's
Mhm.
still like it's not necessarily like 100% determining how our day
Mhm.
we're going to be like, right?
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
how we think about it matters so much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It just this is a really good point. Like, let's not determine the morning, how we feel in the morning, how we will feel by the end of the day. That's really, really good point. Yeah, because I think it was in the Pauline's interview. She
yeah,
was talking
Pauline, yeah,
about it
exactly.
that we have this hyper arousal when we feel anxious and all this negative energy, but then we have also these kind of like normal arousal, which will help us to wake up and carry on throughout the day. And so let's hope for the normal arousal that will help us to carry on throughout the day. And let's hope that we will have many healthy relatives abroad.
Exactly. That's a good one. Libby, I hope it's helpful to you. And let's see here. We have Amanda with us today, and she says the following. It's on his back, and it feels worse than ever. I'm not stopping anything about my life to stop it, but it just feels never ending. How do I not lose hope? Oh yeah, of course. First of all, very sorry to hear this, Amanda. You know, Sorry to hear this, and hang in there. I'm glad you're here. But what would you say to Amanda when you hear this, Veronica?
Uh, that the first thought that comes to my mind is that every speed bump feels the worst. And it's basically because we are in a different state when we are in fight or flight. When we are in insomnia, we have a lot of hyperarousal. Our brain is in threat monitoring. We are very nervous, and we are always. It's normal to feel hopeless. We change the way we think. We change the way we feel, and how we perceive things. So this is every time we have insomnia or when we are in the fight or flight. So first of all, normalizing things. This is always really, really, very helpful. That it's normal to lose hope. It's normal to feel like this is a never-ending story. And this is kind of like a good starting point where when we normalize this, we can have it like our kind of temporarily our new normal. Okay, I suffer from insomnia. I'm not feeling well, and it's okay. I don't want to say okay. I want to say it's normal. And if I don't try to change anything, if I not like white knuckling on sleep, like I must sleep, I must do something about it. And with our non-reactive attitude, the speed bump sooner or later will pass.
Yeah, that's so true. And yeah, just adding to what you said, it's like our brain is this again, like it's a survival machine, and it doesn't like when it thinks we're under some type of danger, it's not going to be like, oh, well, this is a little dangerous, but it's not really that dangerous. It's going to be like, no, this is the worst. This is the worst ever. You got to do something now. It wants to play it up, right? So we do something, right? That's the whole point. And so yeah, so oftentimes like it feel, this one seems like the worst one because of that, and it's also like it can also feel extra heavy because like we left the struggle once. Why are we back here, etc. But yeah, maybe check out our speed bump playlist, Amanda.
Mhm.
There's a lot of great information there, I think, and hang in there. All right, let's see. Here comes the smart Alec is here. I've had insomnia for 3 months, and I'm worried it's affecting my health and well-being. This all started when I had a panic attack that landed me in the hospital with a series of heart palpitations. I feel so helpless. All right. Well, I can start sharing some thoughts here, so you get a break, Veronica, and you can uh, uh, tune into to what we're talking about here. But yeah, so first of all, Alex, sorry this has happened, but I'm glad you're here. And uh, I want to say firstly that we have a whole series called Heard Online where we look at like articles and things like that and claims about sleep. And this is something that we've investigated a lot. I've personally investigated a lot, and there's really no evidence whatsoever that short sleep or insomnia causes any health issues. No, regardless of what we hear, there's really no evidence that it causes anything. So just that knowing that can be really helpful because it takes away a lot of pressure. Second thought in my mind is like it started with a panic attack. We've heard that many times that we're scared, we're anxious, and then often a common story is like, then I had a panic attack at night, where it woke me up, or in the evening, and then I didn't sleep. And then we can see that in itself is not surprising. When we're scared, we will be awake. But what can happen then is like the shift of the anxiety becomes not like whatever caused the panic attack, but it comes like sleep shift. Like now it becomes like, oh, panic attacks can keep me awake all night. Now this is bad. Now what am I going to do now I have insomnia. Now I can't sleep. And now what scared us initially isn't what scares us, but what's scaring us now is like being awake. Not sleeping is now what's become the new threat. And then we can have insomnia because like we're afraid of not sleeping, and that fear keeps us awake, and then we become more scared of sleeping, et cetera, et cetera. And just like understanding this, so we're like, oh, this is what's happening. That can be so helpful. And I want to add one more thing here, which is along the as far as the palpitations go, that I wrote this tweet the other day, which I liked, and I want to share it. Which was, I basically said that when we are scared and we have like our heart is beating hard, that doesn't mean we have a heart disorder. When we're breathing fast because we're frazzled, that doesn't mean we have a lung disorder. When we're awake at night because we were anxious, that doesn't mean we have a sleep disorder. All these things are just surface manifestations of fear, like heart beating, the palpitations. That's a normal part of being like in fight or flight. Breathing fast is sweating, being awake. All this is a normal part of fight or flight. And when we see that, we're like, oh, this is just a normal reaction to being scared. And the reason I'm scared is just a confusion. It's like my center, my brain is confused. Then things get easier. Like then we're like, oh, I'm really safe. There's nothing going on. Then things kind of fade out by themselves. So those were the thoughts that came into my mind as we heard this from Alec. But what do you think, Veronica?
First thing I have noticed, and I think which is nice, I'll give you the context. You said that you suffer from insomnia 3 months. And in general, lately, what I have seen, people are finding your channel when they suffer from for months, as apart from as opposed to years. And I find this kind of really nice that people are able to find help, let's say quickly, because when one suffers for years, it's I don't want to say much more difficult um, to change the ingrained behavior, but in some way it is. You know what I mean, right? And when you suffer for months, of course, it's really hard. I don't want to belittle anything, but I'm really glad that you don't have to suffer any more longer as you start this recovery journey. And so this was the first thing I wanted to mention. And the second thing is the palpitations. One thing that I have noticed in myself was that when I suffered from palpitations, uh, one of the interesting things that I observed was that I could hear my heart beating in my ear. Like I was laying in my bed and I could hear my heart beating. And it was quite annoying because I was so focused on it. And I didn't know it then, it was a part of hyperarousal. And I thought I had palpitations. But then I checked it and I didn't have palpitations because my heart was at a normal rate. But I thought like, oh my God, my heart is beating so heavy. But I was only hyper aroused. Only my senses were heightened, and it's like literally you could hear a pin drop in the next room. And so this is one thing I wanted to say. And the second thing, of course, we can have palpitations, and this is a symptom of hyperarousal. And when we are talking very often about befriending wakefulness, we can also talk about befriending the various symptoms that we have. We can befriend our headache. We can befriend our turning stomach. We can befriend our palpitations. And because very often when we have the palpitations, we get scared. Oh my God, I got palpitations. Something is wrong with me. I will not sleep tonight. I'm hurting myself, and so on and so on and so on. So when we befriend these palpitations, it's like we do it by welcoming them. Like, oh, here you are, palpitations, welcome, and let it let's stay with them, because we when we let the palpitation stay, we will see that they will fade, and they will fade the sooner we let them in. And one interesting I think what happened to me is that I think it was in the book from Claire Weeks. She was talking about like challenging your symptoms. And I experienced it myself that all of a sudden I had palpitations. I didn't know why. Like my heart was really pounding. And when I had insomnia, of course, I was freaking about it. I was adding another layer of fear, and which brought more hyperarousal. The more hyperaroused I was, the more my heart was pounding, and so on. And it became the circle, vicious circle. And now, when I learned, like, okay, it's nothing wrong. It's just a normal reaction of the body. I was able to welcome it and even challenge it. And in the book, I learned that you can challenge it like, can you beat even faster? Can you beat even stronger? And you will learn you can't. You cannot, by your will, to make it worse. And this is kind of comforting because uh, it will, sooner or later, it will end. And funny enough, when I was doing this challenging, it's really nice to put your hand on your heart because you connect with it. Yeah. And uh, once I talked to it, like, okay, it's okay to be here and challenge it. And then I caught myself, like, my mind was wandering and I was thinking about something completely else. And I was like, okay, wait, I was here sitting with my palpitations. Where are they now? And they were gone. Really, they were gone. If you would tell me, I wouldn't believe it, but they were gone. Of course, this is not a rule that every time you challenge your heart palpitations they will be gone. Let's say it is a guidance how to do it, and even if it doesn't go away, it's okay, because the way how you challenge it, the way how you approach it, the way how you let it be there, you are signaling your brain that this symptom is safe, and it will not send more hyperarousal and more fear and more more stress response. So, and then you will see that all the symptoms, all the thoughts, all the emotions, they are fleeting.
Yeah. Wow. That was amazing. I have nothing to add. That was so nicely said. Let's end on that very nice note, and we'll just say we had a nice kind of thank you message here from G. I want to say thank you for being here. It's so nice you found our way. And Alex said, yes, letting the symptoms does help. Thank you for the response. So glad it made sense, Alex. So we'll conclude there. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks, Veronika, and see you next week.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.